Welcome to my Iron Maiden Ed Force 1's Boeing 747-400 build. As I've already done an unboxing video, let's jump straight in. One simple LED strip will not only light all the windows, but also the vertical tail where the image of Eddie from the Book of Shadows album art sits. You can see, with the two parts of the fuselage together, there's still a big gap, which the LEDs running along the base will easily light up. For the wings, there's two clear LEDs and the port and starboard lights, which I'll be able to do with fibre optic cable. With a file, I also made a small hole to allow the cables to run through into the fuselage. I drew a pencil line roughly where I want the tail light to end, and I marked it out with putty, as that will give the light's end a more faded look as opposed to a straight line. It should light the main part of the face and then darken as the image spreads out. And then mask the rest of it, and I've done the same with the other side. This should give the impression it's being lit from the outside. To light block it, I'll give it a coat of black and then white and a primer coat of grey. Onto the wings, and I'll light the main headlights. One 3mm bulb will be plenty for each side. Put on a resistor and solder, red for positive and black for negative. Place a piece of plastic tubing over the joints and heat to shrink. Measure out a piece of fibre optic cable which will run the length of the wing for the port and starboard lights. Hot glue the bulb and fibre optic in place and tape down and join the pieces together. I did exactly the same for the other wing. A quick light test, and bar the expected light leak, it's looking good. Fibre optic is lighting nicely too. The tabs for the rear stabilisers broke off the sprue, so I drilled small holes where they should have been and then stick cocktail sticks in the fuselage to hold them in place. I'll use Royal Light Grey XF80 for the base colour. Mask the inner sections of the wings and use light grey XF66. Underneath the wings, mask the spoilers and spray white X2. Finally, for the wings, mask the front of them and spray chrome X11. For the front headlights, I filled them with microcrystal clear. I also resprayed the light grey as there was a few scratches and that front line wasn't straight. For the windows, I'm not just leaving them as empty holes, so I have strips of plastic which I'll cover them with, but first spray them with frosted glass to give a better effect. You can see the difference here. The frosted plastic is in the top windows. Now I'll fit the rest of the pieces in place. The strip for the lights I'll solder cables to and fit to the bottom of the fuselage. Where the cargo door is, I'm drilling a hole for the cables to come out of. I have an idea how to hide them, but more on that later. Before I can put the two parts of the fuselage together, I need to construct the front piece of the landing gear. I'll touch that wheel up a bit better, and that's the fuselage together. I'll let that set for a day before applying the putty to seal the light leaks. I'll start the engines with the turbine casing. The inside is black and the outside I use chrome X11 and light grey XF66. The fan blades I've done chrome as well, and I'll do the inner piece with a fine tip black paint pen. There's quite a bit of flash on the fan casing. Put the blade piece in place and close it up. Then spray gloss white. Before I place on the engines, I'll solder all the reds together as well as the black and run an extra 2 cables out through the hole I drilled earlier in the side of the loading bay. Now I'll make up the landing gear, fit it and the engines. There's a lot of decals, some of them tiny, to put in place, but they do look good when done. For the display, I'm just using a small floating shelf which I've sprayed black, and I'll print out a Book of Souls poster and the Dublin date, which was 2017. Around the sides of the display, I've printed out Eddie heads from all the albums on decal paper, and I'll apply them. And that's the display base. To hide the cables coming out of the plane, I got these crates from a train set, painted them black and chrome to make them look like concert gear cases. I'll run the cables down through them and into the base and out the side. And that's the Boeing 747 Ed Force 1 finished. Often piloted by Bruce Dickinson himself, took not only the band but the entire stage show and crew along for the ride. By the end of the tour, the plane flew into 36 countries, with the band performing 117 shows to 1.3 million fans. I hope you enjoyed this build. Until the next time, up the irons.
If you liked what you saw, please hit the like and subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the bell too. Thank you.